This is Josh Holyfield, and welcome to another episode of Make America Swole Again. A no bullshit, no sugarcoating, snowflake-free podcast where I teach you how to step out of your comfort zone, stop dreaming, and start smashing your goals in fitness and in life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Josh Holyfield, and welcome back to another episode of Make America Swole Again. So, funny story, there's only a few of you guys watching right now, which is fine. But the reason for that is because I cannot go live on Facebook. I was actually banned, restricted, put on fucking, what's it called? Facebook jail. What's another word for it? I was hit with the ban hammer. And the reason I was hit with the ban hammer is because I called someone a pussy. I know. I should know better not to tell people what I think of them when they're being pussies, but here we are. But the good news is I've actually been working to make the transition to stream on YouTube full time anyway, so I guess we're just going to stream on YouTube. Whatever. We're here. So I got a couple things. I'm not going to spend too much time with you guys. I know it's Valentine's Day. You all have your significant others and your wives and your boyfriends and your sisters, for those of you guys from West Virginia, that you have to attend to. And so what I will do is I will be on here. I'll be direct. I'll be succinct. Couple things that I want to talk about. Nothing crazy. Hopefully get some opportunity to hang out with you guys and chat back and forth. And then we'll call it a night. So first things first, if you guys don't remember last week, my fucking mic broke. So now I've got the fancy mic. This thing right here is like the Joe Rogan podcast mic. And I've got the real nice boom arm that I picked up. This thing by itself was $100, but man, it's like night and day difference. The quality of the audio, which I'm sure you guys can tell. The quality of the experience here, it's easy for me to move around and manage. I don't have to fuck with it. Really, really happy with this product so far. So this is a Shure MV7 podcast mic, which I got here. And then I've got the blue, real nice boom arm that we picked up today. So this stuff got delivered today. I'm really happy about it. So I'm a real boy now. I've got the official podcast stuff. The mic that I had that broke, that was the very first one that we bought. If you guys remember back in November 2019 when we started doing the podcast, I actually went out that day to buy the mic. And while I was out there, I was at Best Buy. I remember I spent like $120 on this microphone. It was a Blue Yeti. And I was like super pumped and excited because I had this awesome podcast mic. And well, I forgot the headphones. And I felt like I needed headphones to do the podcast because that's what everybody else does. I don't even wear fucking headphones anymore. But that was why I was wearing the My Little Pony headphones on the very first podcast, was because it was like my option is to either not do the podcast at all or wear my daughter's headphones. And I decided to go ahead and full send it and wear her headphones. So that's how long it's been. So we've officially upgraded for the first time ever. We've got the fancy new microphone that I think it sounds better. You guys tell me. And we got the arm and all that stuff, so you'll start seeing me look much more official on the videos. But very first thing, okay, I have a client of mine. His name is, we're just going to, for the sake of his privacy, we're going to call him Tim. Okay. Tim's been with me for a long time. Tim is very successful in his career. He's actually less than 30, he's single, he has no kids. He's lost a stupid amount of weight, in great shape. But one of the things that Tim has always really, really struggled with was his mental health. And he does good for a while, and he'll like be on track, stay consistent with his goals, stay disciplined. He's doing good at work. He gets promoted at work. He's got all these cool things that are happening in his life. And then out of nowhere, something will happen. You know, it could be a breakup. It could be the loss of a family member. It could be the Eagles lost the Super Bowl. Like, it doesn't really fucking matter what it is, but he'll have like a trigger moment occur in his life. And when those moments occur, for him, he lives in this kind of all or nothing mindset where if I stop hearing from him, I know that I need to get him on the phone or get a hold of him or check him in some way because he's completely gone off the fucking deep end as far as being on track is concerned. And I think this is a very common problem that occurs for a lot of people when it comes to their health and their fitness and kind of being on track towards their personal growth and personal development, is they live in this all or nothing single frame of mind, a way of thinking where, good examples for the workout guys. A lot of times people won't stay on track with their nutrition unless they're staying on track with the gym. Some guys, they have a hernia or they have some type of injury or they have a surgery or for whatever reason they can't get into the gym for a few weeks. The second they stop going to the gym in their regularly scheduled times or their routine, they immediately use that as an excuse to fall off on their nutrition. And I hear this all the time. Hey, I injured this and I can't lift for X amount of weeks. What should I do to make sure I don't lose my progress? Well, the first step is don't lose your nutrition. Stay on track with your food. Be consistent with your food. There's no reason for you to stop doing nutrition just because you can't do this over here. And so we live in kind of this single frame of mind where we think, hey, if I am not doing this, then that justifies me not doing this, and this. And it creates stagnance and it impacts their progress and the results that they see. And so a good example with my client, Tim, is he has this distraction that occurs in his life. And now suddenly he's not staying on track with his food. He's missing days in the gym. He starts going out and drinking. He sleeps on the goals that he has. His performance at work starts to struggle. And it's like one thing after another, after another, after another. And so I was talking to him, and I actually texted him last night because I saw he had missed a couple of days. And I was like, hey, pull your head out of your ass. Tomorrow morning, get the fuck to the gym and do your fucking workout. And he texts me the next day. He's like, sorry, man, I'm just like in this place where I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Why do I keep getting into these ruts? What's causing me to go into this downward spiral in my life where it seems like every 3 to 6 months, I go off the deep end and completely lose everything. And I had a couple of points to make. The first thing is everybody goes through events. We'll call those events distractions, speed bumps, hurdles, challenges, obstacles, whatever you want to call them. Your life is not going to be perfect. You're going to live in a world where these distractions, they exist. And it seems like you can never get a break. There's always some new thing that you're having to deal with in addition to all the responsibilities that come with living the life that you live. The question isn't, why do I keep having these things occur in my life? Because those are outside of your control most of the time. The question is, why is it that you are allowing those things to stop you from making progress towards the things that you can control? And so we live in this world where all we should be and need to be focusing on is what we can control, period. Regardless of what the situation is, regardless of how it may or may not be your fault. We've spent a lot of time in the past talking about accountability and ownership. It's imperative that you understand that your responsibility as a man is to focus on what you can control. I'm sure you guys know the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking, as he did, this sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make things right if I surrender to his will, so that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever and ever in the next. Amen. What that prayer is saying is very simple. Accept the things that I cannot change for what they are, things that I cannot change. And have the courage to change the things that I know I can. And it's the same thing that I was saying, is in your life, you're going to face obstacles. You're going to face challenges. You're going to go through stints of depression. You're going to go through periods of time where you don't want to. And maybe the degree of motivation that you have is minimal. And being able to make it through those challenging times, those obstacles, those distractions, those moments when you don't feel your best, when you don't feel like it, when you're not performing at your max capacity and you feel like you've peaked, and continuing to push forward and not allowing those distractions and those obstacles to stop you, and being okay with moving slowly forward instead of moving forward fast. As long as you're moving forward, you're making progress. And the difference between the people who become great, become successful, and the people who continue to relive the same 5 years of their life over and over and over is the ones who create success do not allow those distractions to deter them from creating progress in the things that they want to create for their lives. You are always going to have challenges, distractions, obstacles, tribulations, whatever the fuck you want to call them. They're always going to be there. There's always going to be some new drama or fucking problem that shows up in your life. Regardless of how fucking hard you're working, putting your nose down and fucking grinding, there's always going to be something. And even when there isn't some drama, I can tell you a lot of the guys that I see who have a successful marriage, good relationship with the kids, everything is great. Out of nowhere, just wake up one day and just be like, I just don't feel like it. I'm just tired. I don't know what's wrong. I'm struggling with creating purpose for myself, and I'm not quite sure what that means. And now it's affecting my drive and my ambition to continue doing the things that I'm already doing. We deal with this all the time. If you want to be great, really fucking great, and leave a lasting impression upon the world, you have to understand that you're going to have to go years and years and years and years of being consistent and not seeing fucking progress, not being appreciated, not getting accolades, not getting recognition, not getting a pat on the back. People are going to question your fucking sanity. They're going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to criticize you. I can't tell you how many people tell me all the time, here I am, and I will continue day in and day out to grind and 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 grind. And then out of nowhere, I promise you, you will hit that success streak and it will go to the moon. Success is not this fucking linear, straight up and down line. This is something where you have to pay it forward. You have to be willing to go years, especially in business, without seeing results. And the same thing applies to fitness or health or weight loss or getting stronger. You guys see a guy like me and you see I'm pretty strong. Can lift a lot of weight. When I started, I couldn't bench press more than 200 pounds. I couldn't deadlift more than, 185 pounds, 225. And I didn't even know what a fucking squat was. I skipped fucking leg day for the first 10 years that I worked out. But either way, it took me 15 years to get from the scrawny 160 pound fucking dude to what you see today. And even after 15 years of me doing this, I'm not even on the top of the food chain as far as physique or strength is concerned. Think about the amount of commitment and consistency and how long you have to go. And so when I get a guy who reaches out to me and he's like, hey, Josh, I think I've plateaued. I'm not seeing any strength increases on this workout or exercise. I can't help but laugh because you have no fucking clue what a plateau is. How long have you been working out? A year? Okay, so you finally stopped getting your newbie gains and you're actually experiencing what it's like to have to actually work for the progress that you make. Again, the success curve is not linear. It's going to be up and down, and it's going to appear in the grand scheme of things when we zoom out very flat. And so, yes, you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have distractions. You're going to have periods of depression. You're going to have hard times in your life and challenging periods where you don't feel your best. You have to learn how to continue moving forward and making progress, even when those things occur. That is what's going to set you apart from the people who are great versus the people who, again, like I said, continue to repeat the same 5-year cycle in their life over and over and over until they die. I've seen it. How many fucking dudes do we have in our group that you guys have seen who've lost the same 50 pounds over and over and over and over? They lose the weight, they gain it back. They lose the weight, they gain it back. It's like yo-yo dieting at its finest. They're not making a permanent change. They're mentally masturbating. They like the fucking feel-goods and the attention and the pats on the back and the fucking, oh, you're so good that they get when people see that they've lost weight. And then as soon as they get to a place where they're no longer getting the attention that they feel like they should be getting from the weight loss that they've gotten, they fall off the wagon and gain all the fucking weight back. And then wait a few months. Oh my God, I'm starting my weight loss journey again. And they get right back on that fucking dopamine high and ride that roller coaster all the way until they fucking suck that thing dry again. And people no longer care. And so their entire identity has turned into, look at me. They don't want to stay in shape and make that change permanent, because after a certain point, you actually have to work for the progress. And this is a hard pill to swallow, because the last thing that I ever want to do is be the guy who makes fun of the fucking fat guy who won The Biggest Loser. But there's a reason why almost every single contestant on that show gained all the weight back. Is because they made it about what people thought and the attention that they got. And their value was fucking dictated based upon the progress that they made. And so when their progress starts to slow, and it actually gets fucking hard to see changes in the mirror, and there's nobody there fucking cheering you on, now suddenly, oh, I don't want to fucking do this anymore. You have to make your goals non-negotiable, and they can't be contingent upon what people think of you, or the attention that you get, or whether or not somebody's fucking proud of you. Pat Copeman said, I deal with a daily struggle and schedules and bickering in my house daily, but it's not going to change my way of life. There you go. It's so fucking important for you guys to realize that life isn't going to stop. And I think that there's a Denzel Washington quote that talks about this. When the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. The devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. He's my favorite. Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because he's trying to do something right. When the devil's throwing challenges at you, he's throwing obstacles at you, he's trying to block your path and make you reaching your goals more difficult. That's how you know you're doing something right. So I want you to really stop and take a second to think about, if your life is easy and you live in a place of comfort and you're not really pursuing anything great, you're not creating an impact on the world, you're not helping people, you're not serving others, then why is the devil going to waste his time trying to stop you from doing what you're doing? Making your life harder. You're already doing nothing. You're not serving anyone. You're not creating any impact. You're not changing the world for the better. It's the people who are actually pursuing greatness and trying to create impact and serve and make the world a better place that he's more concerned with. And every single time he throws one of those obstacles and those challenges into your life, he's saying, hey, we need to stop this guy. We need to create some distractions. God, just like we talked about on the last podcast, he's the one who's giving you the challenges that you need so that you can become the man that you want to be. You can be tempered into that strong, powerful leader that deserves the thing that you pray for. And the devil is going to create distractions. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, pornography. Shall I continue? Alcohol, drugs, sex. Look at society and all the distractions that it's riddled with. How easy you can find yourself inundated with just useless, time-sucking bullshit that does nothing for you. It does not serve you. It does not help you. It does not give you the ability to improve. It does nothing but deplete you and take away. All of these platforms are designed to do one thing, and that's to buy your attention by creating an addiction to dopamine. That's what the devil wants for you. He wants you fat, stupid, and lazy, sucked into quote-unquote culture or pop culture. God is giving you the challenges that you need to become that man. Challenges in morality, ethics, intellectual challenges, physical challenges, the things that are helping you grow. And so think about where you're investing your time and how you're allowing these distractions or these challenges to shape the person that you are. If you guys are tuned in tonight and you haven't already gone down and hit that subscribe button, do me a favor. All of the content that I post on my podcast, as well as our weekly Iron Forge calls and all the YouTube shorts and the videos that you see on TikTok, everything that I produce is all found on YouTube, and I have it all separated into playlists for you. And if you hit that subscribe button and there's a little notification bell right next to it, what you can do is you can get all of the notifications for the content when it goes live. YouTube is a much more powerful platform that I'm really focusing on trying to grow here. And so if you're hanging out here and you like the show, you like the content, or you're a longtime viewer or listener, I definitely encourage you to take that opportunity to help me out by sharing the stream, share the video with your friends, put it on your Facebook timeline, your social medias, and also make sure you hit that subscribe button. All right. Bubba said, 1 more week to go. After that comes the true test of what I learned. 100%. I'm going to make some time with Coach James probably this week, and we're going to be spending some time going over together what a phase 2 would look like for our fire team's coaching. So right now we have 2 weeks. We've got 13 guys who are on track for graduating the first. So we have just over a 50% success rate for fire teams for the first group, which is, I think, is pretty decent. Those 13 guys will be given an exclusive opportunity to move on to what we'll call phase 2 of our training program, which is going to be probably a little bit more involved, a lot more immersive. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at developing the curriculum for that coaching course. So for those of you guys who are part of Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta or Echo, make sure you pay attention to the group over the next week or so, because we'll be opening slots for the graduates to sign up for to get into phase 2. All right, second topic. You guys know that the title of the podcast tonight is Jack of All. And the reason I've titled it Jack of All is because we're actually in the process of doing some in-home upgrades / remodels / repairs to kind of get this place into better condition so it can be sold. If you guys don't know, back at the end of October, I put my house on the market. Obviously, right now is not the absolute best time to sell, but houses are selling and mine is not. And part of the reason for that is because it just needs some updates, upgrades, and some improvements. It needs paint. It needs carpet. I just should have taken better care of the house. But with all these kids and fucking animals, you guys know what it's like. The last thing you're worried about is the carpet in the girls' bedrooms, right? So my realtor came to me and she said, hey, I think that you should paint the entire interior of the home. And my house is about 3,200 square feet. It would have costed me upwards of $5,000 to $6,000 to have a crew come in here and do it. And it would have been a massive pain in the ass. So I just decided to do it myself, which is fine. I have the sprayer, we're going through room by room and I'm knocking it out and it's getting done. If you guys don't know, I did the floors in the house a couple years ago, so we replaced all the floors downstairs, and I'm actually in the process of picking the carpet for the upstairs and the stairs going upstairs so that we can redo the floors. So between the paint, the flooring upgrades, and I'll probably do a couple like light fixture upgrades and things like that to the vanity in the master bathroom, hopefully the house will be easier to sell at the price point that we want to get it for. And so that's kind of an exciting thing. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort. And I'm an able-bodied, fully capable and competent man. There's absolutely zero fucking reason why I shouldn't be able to do this stuff myself. Period. And if I can't, there is a resource out there. And that kind of goes into what I want to talk about with this concept of Jack of All. Okay. So if you guys don't know, a couple days ago, I posted in the Facebook group, I was having some issue with the electrical in my home. And long story short, in the master bathroom, there's 2 light fixtures, the fan, or 3 light fixtures, the fan, and then the light in the master closet. And then the plugs on the outside of the bathroom. There's 2 receptacles on the outside of the bathroom that are also all on that circuit. So I walked in the bathroom, flipped on the lights so that I could see to get to the toilet room, flipped on the lights in the toilet room, and the breaker tripped. Unplugged everything from the wall and did some troubleshooting and realized that regardless of which lights I had on, if there was 2 things on, it would trip the breaker regardless of what they were. I'm like, that's fucking weird. I couldn't figure it out, like what it could be. I did some Googling. So sure enough, I was like, hey, let's ask the Brotherhood. Blue collar, fuck 25,000 men. I'm sure there's some dudes in here who could give me an answer off the top of their head. Sure enough, I got like 20 answers, and they were all pretty much the same. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've never even opened a circuit box, like the panel. I've not opened that part and taken that piece off and looked inside. No idea what it looked like on the inside or how it worked or anything. And here I am buying a new breaker. So I literally pull the breaker out, bring it to Lowe's, and find the identical breaker. It's like $86. I'm like, Christ, dude, whatever. I replaced it, and everything's working. It's fine. So first of all, for those of you guys who provided the feedback and the input on how to fix the problem, thank you. But the reason I wanted to take some time to share that with you is when I was in my 20s, actually, I'll go back further. When I was a kid, my father was a carpenter. Obviously, he spent most of his career as a tattoo artist, but he started as a carpenter, okay? My father, he could build anything. He could fix anything. He was a handyman. He figured it out. And I've told you guys this on past podcasts, is the number one lesson that I learned from my father was figure it out. Shut the fuck up and just figure it out. That's the lesson that he taught me. And as I was growing up, he wasn't really around, and he never taught me those skills, like what we would call man skills, changing tire, fixing your car, changing your oil, fixing things around the house, handyman type stuff. I knew the basics of a lot of this stuff just because most of it's fucking common sense, but I never actually had a practical knowledge of how to apply a lot of these things. And during my 20s, I never really took the initiative to teach myself. What I would do is I would basically either ignore the problem, which is part of the reason why my house here went to complete and total shit, or I would hire somebody, just pay to have somebody come and fix it. And first of all, it was actually kind of embarrassing to have my wife at the time have to call an electrician to come out and fix a problem that took him like fucking 10 minutes, and then have him after the fact be like, yeah, this is all that was wrong with it. Something that with some basic fucking knowledge and troubleshooting skills I would have been able to do on my own. And it wasn't until I was like in my 30s that I was like, I need to start figuring out how to do this shit. I need to start just learning. And YouTube is a thing. Like, there's a guide somewhere out there for how to do it. And so the reason I want to share that with you and this perspective with you is because a lot of us men today, especially we'll call older millennials and before, most of us didn't grow up with fathers. We don't have very many, if any, Gen Zs in the group. The guys in our group are typically my age or older. And most of us didn't grow up with dads. We weren't taught these skills. And without somebody learning or teaching or mentorship or kind of like me, like just figuring it out, those skills are lost. And the thing that's really cool is because I have made the decision to just FitFo and fucking be okay with fucking it up or failing and it being more expensive of a project so I can learn, my sons are going to have the benefit of having their father be able to teach them. And now I can change that conversation going down my bloodline so that we, as Holyfields, know how to do this shit. And it starts with figure it the fuck out. And one of the things that I'm going to tell you, and this is the key takeaway from this whole conversation that I'm having here, is I've come to the realization that there's absolutely nothing fucking hard about life in general. Like, if we were going to look at it from the perspective of blue collar, like if 10 years ago you would have asked me, hey Josh, I want you to replace all the floors in your house and put this vinyl down, I wouldn't have known where to fucking start. But then after doing it, did you know that this stuff is literally just you go click, and you use a little rubber mallet to fucking put it into place, and it just click, 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 click the whole way through. All those laminate floors, same thing. Replacing shingles on a roof, very simple. Anything blue collar, it's all fucking stupid simple. Basic geometry or math. There isn't a skill that's like super, requires an immense amount of intellect. It's common sense type shit. The funny thing is it's so easy. It's almost like, how did I not think to do that? They simplify it to the point where anybody can fucking do it. You just have to be willing to learn. And so I want you to think about the job that you have. If you're listening to this, whatever it is that you do for a living, unless you're like a doctor or maybe a lawyer or like a chemist or some type of advanced degree that requires some certification of some type, you don't need anything but what we would call OJT. And the military is a phenomenal example of that. Like, I was the dude who was in charge of going out and finding terrorists and dropping bombs on their fucking heads, or sending entire fucking teams of special forces in fucking helicopters to drop on their roof and fucking kill them all. Do you know how much school I had to learn how to do that? 16 weeks. That's it. Here we are. Next thing you know, I fucking 16 weeks of training on how to identify fucking most dangerous courses of action and direct and brief an entire platoon of infantry onto a fucking target site at 18 years old. We have nuclear dudes who are 18 years old running nuclear submarines in the military with less than 6 months of training. Life isn't hard. It's easy to be a jack of all trades. Just to get yourself to a acceptable level of knowledge of how to do something, it takes so little time. You can get to a point where you're at least a novice at most basic things. It's going from that basic level of knowledge to becoming a master that takes the longest. And the only difference between the master and the novice, it's not the technical knowledge. It's the wisdom that comes with facing the problems that aren't in the fucking book. It's going through that scenario and troubleshooting and trying to figure it out for 6 hours and then having this fucking breakthrough where you finally figured out how it works. And then the next time you run into that problem, having the wisdom of knowing, oh, this is just like that problem I spent 6 hours on before. Here's the solution, then being able to fix it in 5 minutes instead of 6 hours. That is the difference between a novice, a jack of all trades, for lack of a better term, and somebody who's an actual true master, is the wisdom. And I think we sell ourselves short. We convince ourselves that things are more difficult than they really are because either A, we're afraid of failing, B, we're afraid of what people will think if we suck at it, or C, pretending like it's more difficult than it is justifies not actually taking action. When in fact, all three of those excuses are absolute bullshit. All you have to do is commit yourself. It's going to take some time. It's going to require that you have a little bit of a learning curve. But brother, the amount of time, effort, energy, money I have saved just being willing to fucking figure it out, it's beyond what I can explain. It makes me a better quality man. It makes me a better father. And, I think most importantly, it helps you to realize that there's really nothing that you can't do. Just do it. Be okay with sucking and just suck less every time you do it. And eventually what's going to happen is you just focus on sucking a little bit less every time you do it. You're not going to suck anymore. And you're going to eventually be pretty good at it. And then you're going to look forward to doing that thing because you're good at it. Stop worrying about what all these fucking people out there who are doing less than you have to say about the fact that you're willing to do something that they're not. Because I fucking promise you, there is not a single person on the planet who is successful at something, is good at something, is considered a master of something, who's going to tell you not to do it, or it's too hard, or don't even bother, or why are you trying that, or you're this, or you're that, or all the fucking criticisms that people give. It's the people who don't think they can, or they've tried and failed, who tell you you can't. Those are the people who are telling you to be careful, or maybe you should think twice, or you should start taking things more seriously, or when are you going to get a real job, or when are you going to start a real business, or the list goes on. The motherfuckers that have actually done it are out there fucking crushing it, they'll tell you it's hard. They're not going to tell you it's too hard. And they're going to fucking tell you it's a lot easier than you think it is. It's okay to suck. Just do it. In all seriousness. The amount of skills and knowledge that I've gotten just by willing to fucking go is beyond anything that I can explain to you guys. And what I can tell you as a successful business owner and an entrepreneur and somebody who's looking to hire staff and talented employees and people who I can bring into the culture that I'm trying to build with my company and create something really big, that is like the one non-tangible thing that I look for is, does this person that I'm hiring have that willingness to just make it fucking happen? Like, I'll use Coach James as an example right now. That dude, I can say, hey, I need you to fucking fix this problem. And he's not going to come back to me until he has a solution. Period. He will fucking go beg, borrow, and steal. And it's part of what we learned in the military. Figure it out. Go. Don't come back to me until you have a fucking answer. The motherfuckers who you fucking hire and they're looking for a daddy or a babysitter to hold their hand, it's like, why did I even fucking bother hiring you if I was going to have to fucking hold your hand? Figure it out. That is the number one skill that I believe sets people apart in the workplace as well as in entrepreneurship. Does this person have the willingness to just fucking go fuck it up, learn from their mistakes, improve, get better over time? If you can do that, you can't fail as long as you don't quit. All right. I'm going to call it a night. I will be back on Thursday for the Iron Forge coaching. So for those of you guys who are part of the Iron Forge, make sure you tune in for the Iron Forge group coaching. For those of you guys who are not, you need to sign up. JoshHolyfield.com. You'll find a link to the Iron Forge. It's our membership that we do. It's $24.99 a month. You get access to a weekly call with me. It's supposed to last only an hour. Typically it goes between 90 minutes to 2 hours just because I hang out with you guys for so long on Thursday nights. That Zoom call is recorded. In addition to the weekly call that you get with me, you're getting unlimited access to all the workout programs that I offer, as well as unlimited access to the nutrition plans and the training I offer. So you get meal plans, you get training plans all in the mobile app where you can use those at your leisure. Everything that you need to create success as far as your mindset, from the coaching, the programming, the nutrition, supplementation, all that comes inside of the Iron Forge. It's $25 a month. You want to pay that, you can do it that way, or you can do a one-time payment for lifetime access to everything in the Iron Forge for $200 flat. One payment, $200, okay, which is a fucking steal. So again, we do that call on Thursday nights. And you guys are absolutely welcome to take part and join. For those of you guys who are part of the podcast on Tuesday nights, you come in here. Most of you guys are Iron Forge guys. If you're not, you have questions, let me know. I'll happily send you a page that goes over how everything works, or we can talk about it and chat, DM back and forth, and I can answer any of your questions. So again, for those of you guys who are going to be for the Iron Forge Thursday, I'll see you then for the coaching call. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday for next week's podcast. Enjoy your weekend. God bless. Stay fucking swole.